Hey everybody, Dave here. Hope you're having an awesome day. So, it has been a while since I've built a droid, and I found this adapter. I think it's maybe a European power adapter. I'm not sure. It was in the recycle bin at my work in the electronics recycle bin. So, I thought, this looks like a cool little backpack, and it gives me an idea for a droid. So, I'm going to dig around in my box, see if I can find another component for the body. I've got some Final Faction parts for the legs. So, yeah. Let's go build a droid. All right, so I found this other little power brick thing from the recycle bin at my work. But this thing was a pain in the neck to get off. I tried getting it off without ruining it, but it pinched my finger. Finally, I just muscled it off. Ow. Okay, and then just take a little hammer, hit those little plugs off. So what I'm going to do, because I couldn't save that piece, I'm going to just take a piece of polystyrene, do a little bend on it, and that should work. So before I glue that down, I'm going to hit this really quick with a little sanding, just so the glue and the polystyrene stick a little bit better. So I got some glue on there, and then we'll just lay this on, wrap it around, and hold it for a couple of seconds. I forgot to film this, but essentially all I have to do is I just trimmed a couple times or scored it, and then that just snaps right off. The polystyrene does. And I took my snips, and I just snipped off the edges there. Doing a final sanding here, getting all the edges nice and flat and smooth. Now this sandpaper is a little bit rougher, so what I'll do is once I get this to how I like it, feels pretty nice, I'm going to get some wet sandpaper. I think this is 1200 grit, and just give it a final sanding so it's nice and clean. Wipe that down, and that turned out pretty nice. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so this is Final Faction. This is from the Dollar Tree. These are amazing, especially for scratch builders and kit bashers. I specifically wanted these legs, and these are going to work out perfect for what I'm wanting to do. I found this Green Lantern piece in my bit box. For those of you that noticed that on my Instagram post, great eye. But I think this is going to work out really nice as kind of the torso for the legs. So I'm going to just glue those on there. But right now I'm kind of just dry fitting everything and seeing what I want to use. So I found this camera. It was from an old cell phone, again, in the electronic recycle bin at work. And I'm just kind of eyeballing this on there, and I think that's going to be pretty cool as a robotic eye. I'm just marking some lead on the back here, and you can see I've kind of found the center point, and just by wiggling that around, it leaves some lead there, so I know right where to cut. I just scored it a couple times, and then did a little X, and then you can pop that little center piece of the polystyrene right out, and then, yep, that turned out really nice. That camera drops in and looks really cool on there, so I'm pleased with that. All right, I had this little tiny plastic piece that I snipped off of something. I have no clue what it was, but I thought this is kind of a cool little greebly. And then I'm laying out some additional greeblies on the back here. This little Gundam part looks like a little handle. That little vent thing was also from that cell phone, so I think that's going to be kind of cool. So I'm going to do a little light sanding before I glue this down. That'll just help the glue to stick a lot better. So got a little glue on there. I'm going to start gluing these bits on and start putting this together. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. Make sure to get it lined up before it sets. There we go. All right, got some glue on the legs here, so that should hold the torso and legs together. And then I want to put a magnet on the body to attach it to the torso, but I really don't have anything to glue the magnet onto, and I don't want the magnet to fall through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this onto here, and then that should be a backer to help hold it together. I saw this on YouTube. I cannot remember who I saw this from, so I apologize. What I did was I just put a little dot of glue there, and I'll stick that magnet on there. While that's drying, I marked out the center point here, and I'm going to just start a hole with my X-Acto knife. I like doing the X-Acto knife to start a hole. And then take my drill bit and get a little hole drilled through, perfect size. I'll load up this little backer piece with glue, and I should be able to slide this right on, and that should hold that magnet in place. So I'll just push that in there. Yep, and that worked out pretty great for me. It may have been Kathy Millett that I saw this from. I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, there it is. That's going to work pretty nice. So now I need to get that magnet in the torso. So you can see here I've got the magnet. I just drilled a hole in the lantern part there, and cool. I think that's going to work out pretty great. All right, I marked some points for the gun arms, and I just drilled a hole a little bit smaller than the peg, so it's kind of just a friction fit, but I think that's going to work out pretty nice. Yeah, I got to put the other gun on, but yeah, that's going to work out. All right, and then I just took a little piece of scrap polystyrene, and I just want to add just a little bit of depth to this thing. I don't want to go too much, so, and because this is polystyrene to polystyrene, I am just using some Tamiya polystyrene thin glue. It just seeps right in and works out really nice. And I'm going to glue a couple of other little pieces on there, but I think this is pretty much the idea that I want to go with, not too much more than this. And I got some holes in the back of the legs here, so I think what I'm going to do is take some of this headphone wire, and I'm going to stick it right in there. I'll trim it and glue that down, so that should kind of look a little robotics. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. I like the way that turned out. And here it is. I'm going to go prime this thing, but just wanted to show you everything. The body, the gun, the little backpack. So I think it's ready to prime. This is looking pretty sweet. I like this. Oh yeah, don't forget, drill out the holes of your gun. Otherwise it looks dorky. I have a whole box full of just old model decals, and I saved them. And so I started putting on some decals onto this droid before I put a wash on it. So I got the Citadel Known Oil, and I'm just going to take a brush and just lather this on. And I'm going to do this on the backpack, and then I'll just take a paper towel and just kind of wipe down. And I'm not being super delicate about this because I kind of want it to look grungy and dirty. So did it to the body, did it to the legs, pretty much the same thing. I did take a little bit of this yellow, and on the hydraulic portions just painted that out just to give it a little touch of color. Then I took some silver paint. This is Citadel, and you can see I brushed off most of the paint on the paper, and that allows me to just dry brush this on here. And I did this over all the legs, the torso, the body, the backpack, and what it does is it just gives it a little edge, a little sheen to it. It's such a nice effect. If you haven't done dry brushing, you got to try it. So here I am just gluing down the camera, getting that in place once it's painted. I didn't want to glue that down before I painted because that would have been a hot mess. So, but yeah, I'm loving how this is coming together. I am taking just a little bit of I think it's Vallejo rust, and just doing a little bit of accents of rust. I did it over the entire body. And then I'm going to build a little diorama, put some sand down, and I'm going to wrap this thing up. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. This was a fun one. Okay, that was really, really fun. It's been a while since I've done the droid, and it turned out really great. I like that the body's magnetic, so that can come off. The guns move up and down. But, yeah, this was super fun. I think my next build, I'm going to do a droid that I built a while ago, but I never really loved it, so I think I'm going to revamp it in my next video, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, let's do some turnaround shots of this, and as always, it's a great day to be a toy nerd. Have a great one.